What's up, guys? It's your boy Dope back at it again. And this video is going to be the off-season / draft recap. So I know I can't live stream the entire free agency process. I did stream the draft, which can be found somewhere on that channel. But we're just gonna go over everything that happened in the free agency. I really didn't do that much in free agency. So this might be a little short, and also we're gonna talk about the changes to the league and what we want to do this year and goals and all that stuff, aka we're gonna get to play with this thing and set that. We'll do that today too. So first piece of business is the free agency. Like I said, I really didn't want to touch free agency that much for several reasons. The main reason is I liked my team as it was. I mean, I don't want to sound brash or anything, but we did go 14-1-1. And was some of our games closer than it could have been, than it should have been? I mean, maybe, but it's the NFL. No one is a cakewalk, and you have to play every game with your A game, or you're going to get beat. So I expect every game to be close. And we just found it, and just, like Scotto Gallagher says on NBA 2K TV, winners win. And we just kept finding ways to win. And that's how we got the 14-1-1. But so that was the main reason. I liked how my team played, especially down the stretch. We had our stride on offense. Henry and Mariota figured it out. But I was most impressed on defense. The secondary, led by Jackson and Byard, and then Woodyard, our AFC Defensive Player of the Year, just decided to play lights out. Just everyone on defense played great. And our defense kind of led to our offense. So I really didn't want to touch the team. I didn't really want to mess with free agency because I liked our team. And I didn't really want to make a big splash because I just liked everyone. So that's number one. Number two, and this is another reason, the top free agents in that class, but all positions I really didn't need. So I would say that running back was the one spot that I really don't need to touch for years to come, with Henry and Lewis, and our new from the practice squad, Tyquan Mizell Sr. Yes, he was on the practice squad. He's a lot better than McNichols. We decided to call him up, and I have some sad news. Jeremy McNichols has been cut from the team, as his services were no longer required. After when we signed our fourth running back in the form of Nick Brissett, the running back from LSU, who was called Baby Leonard Fournette, which I would take. So, okay. But let's give a moment of silence for Jeremy McNichols and the contributions that he did as the third string running back, going from no name to a name. And let's just give a moment of silence, please. Thank you. But yeah, I really didn't want to mess with it that much, just for that reason. And it was running back, which I really didn't need at all, because these two are a 1-2 duo that can't be stopped. And also cornerbacks was the second most populous position on the market. And I really don't need another cornerback, because I have Adoy and Logan Ryan and Malcolm Butler, three really good cornerbacks. And just I felt like I really didn't need to fill any, like, I don't know. I just didn't feel the need to add anything. And it wasn't like there wasn't like a lights out secondary player or a beast running back. The best running back was Jay Ajayi, which, I mean, Henry is a lot better than Ajayi. And the best quarterback, I can't remember, but Adoy is better than him at an 85, so it would have been a CB2, and I trust Logan Ryan. Even other than that, like the positions in need, like D tackle and the linebackers, it was either like there was some that I was intrigued in, but they just wanted too much. And it kind of led to my third reason. I didn't want to pay that much because I had about 18 million of cap space to begin free agency. I only spent, and I didn't use it, mainly because for this season we're going to have so many re-signings. I'll show you that. Nope. Aha. Like, there's some really important guys, and they're gonna have to get re-signed. Like, Mariota would be nice to re-sign. Kevin Byard would be nice to sign. Henry would be nice. Woodyard, I think he's getting old. I'll have to consider it. Ben Jones, I mean, we're looking at some pretty important guys. And we might or might not have the space, so you never know. You never know. But I wanted to save the most money I could in an effort to bring back everyone who I feel can contribute to this team at a high level. I didn't want to put money in something that might pan out. I wanted to save it so I can use it for contract negotiations with Marcus and Byard and Henry and all of them. So those are pretty much the three main reasons. I didn't do much in free agency. Again, I wanted to save money. The class really didn't provide any players of interest that I could plug in at a need, like D tackle, a linebacker, or a wide receiver. And I didn't want to touch the team. So that's pretty much that. However, I did sign one person. Just one. The punt, and it would be the punter. So, shockingly, Pro Bowl, Brett Korn retired unexpectedly after 11 good years. Everyone give him a round of applause on a beautiful career. And it left us scrambling with a punter situation. We tried to sign Marquette King, but he chose Los Angeles and not the Chargers. He chose the LA Chargers. Why, I don't know. So we ended up signing Matt Dorr from the University of Tennessee. It's not a coincidence. And hopefully this guy can be just as good as Brett did at flipping fields and pinning them deep. So that was our only signing, but I have faith in him. I think he can. So that's that for free agency. I don't know, not much, right? Which leads me to the second thing, and that would be the draft. So the draft, we had 3 first-round picks, a third, a fourth, a fifth, a sixth, and a seventh round pick. So a total of 8 picks. And I felt like we used all of these picks in a good way. With that said, let's show you who I got. With the 18th overall pick, and the biggest need for us, we got Dexter Lawrence from Clemson. Big 6'3", 340. I mean, I think this dude is going to be a stud in the NFL. We needed someone who could help Jarrell Casey get to the quarterback because the poor guy, if it wasn't him, then no one was getting to the quarterback, it seems like. From our defensive line, we would have to bring blitzes from our linebackers and secondary just to get pressure. And I wanted to change that, so we brought in Mr. Lawrence. He can take up space, he can get after the quarterback too. So, yeah, that'd be nice. And then we had the 23rd overall pick. And we used that on Mr. Montez Sweat. Now, I did not think he would be available at 23, but he was. And he is, I mean, this guy is a freak at 6'4", 245. Our linebacker situation might be a little crowded. Even though it's a position in need, we don't have one true lockdown linebacker. I mean, Woodyard was the defensive player of the year, but I mean, he's a 78 overall, and he's kind of old. Is he 33? Yeah, he's 33 years old. Like, Woodyard and Arakpo are almost over the hill. So we need some new young blood to fix this. And I put in, we drafted Landry and Evans last year. We picked up Brown too, who played great. Then we got Sweat here. So I really like this linebacking core. And Montez Sweat is just going to provide some extra depth and athleticism for us, which is exactly what we need. Again, 6'4", 245 pounds. He'd be great for us. And then with our third first round pick, we decided to pick, and on the stream I kept saying the wrong last name, and I don't know why y'all didn't say anything. I kept saying N'Keal Henry. It's N'Keal Harry. And someone didn't say anything. Which makes me feel like an idiot. But nonetheless, with our 30th pick in the draft, we picked up N'Keal Harry, not Henry, from Arizona State at 6'3", 215. Other than defensive line, one would say our biggest need was another receiving threat, not named Corey Davis, nor Delaney Walker, but Delaney is getting kind of old. So we need someone other than Davis who can be a reliable threat, and N'Keal Harry might be that person. He's big, he's 6'3", 215 pounds. He can go up for the deep ball. He can go for the deep ball. He's a pristine route runner. He can catch pretty consistently, no drops. I mean, I like what this guy brings to the table, and I feel like he's a pretty nice addition for number 30, especially when he wasn't the first wideout. I'm trying to think. The first receiver not picked. Wait. He was not the first wide receiver picked in the draft, which amazes me. But, N'Keal Harry. I think he will be the best receiver from this class. And he will have, I wouldn't say an immediate contribution, because he's going to be the third receiver for now, behind Taylor and Corey Davis, but we'll see. You'll see him. As the season goes on, I bet he'll get more playing time. He's just too talented. He's going to get it at some point. And then we didn't get a second round pick. And then 3 through 7, we're pretty much going to go rapid fire here. Excuse me. So for the third round, we decided to pick up Jalen Ferguson here from Louisiana Tech. And we picked him up for depth because Jarrell Casey ain't going to play forever. And if we can develop him and get him some nice playing time behind Jarrell Casey, and then he did have a second round grade on him, which a mid second round grade, which is like, I don't know, 45 to 55, and we picked him up at pick 90. So, and he develops quicker than the average person, so I consider that a steal. And like I said, Daquan Jones, I mean, he might be one of the most important people on this team, and we don't realize it, because if Casey is 29, he's going to start a decline soon. But I mean, if they don't perform, then we got Ferguson as a option. And we don't expect Ferguson to be a contributor right away, but in a couple of years or so, when Casey's on the decline and Jones is on the decline, I hope that pans out. And then in the fourth round, we picked up the Luke Stalker replacement, I called it, our third tight end in Dawson Knox. who is a vertical threat tight end at 6'4", 257 from Ole Miss. I mean, he is going to be the third tight end on the depth chart, so, you know. Woo. He'll be in on the goal line. And he'll be in on some heavy formations doing stuff. He'll be the one in the flat, getting open probably. Jonnu and Delaney will be the ones blocking, and Dawson will be on the flat. So, okay. In the 5th round, now, this draft I decided to do, I felt like I wanted to go for value. So all of these picks were great value to me. And that's why some people say I have the best draft. Our 5th round pick was Miko Hardman from the University of Georgia. Now, I feel like this was the best available person on the board. He's a deep guy. I don't know if he's gonna, be that number one guy. However, if you go to the special teams, he will be our new kick returner and punt returner, as he did defeat Dion Lewis for the job. So, we're finding value here. And you'll see Nico Hardman on the 5-outs, on the 5-out routes, or the 5-out sets. You'll see him in the slot, so. And he can turn it deep just about as good as anyone, so. And you'll see him on kick and punt return. So 5th rounder, we just went for the speed factor. So yeah. 6th round pick. And at this point, you're just trying to find depth on the roster. Because, you never know when some of these guys are going to get injured, so you want to find depth? Yeah. 6th round pick. At Hall. You can't make that up. You can't make that name up. At Hall. Right tackle. He can play right or left tackle. Like the size, like the age. Went to Stanford, pretty smart guy. That's about it, really. Pretty much for depth. He can move. So, and what a name. Good luck to At. And our 7th round pick, and I will say this, the 7th round pick was probably the most interesting out of all the teams. He is now on the practice squad. As it's Chandler Gotts he's a fullback from the University of Auburn. That is the same overall as Jay Prosch. And yes, they did have a battle in the preseason. And it ended up going to Jay Prosch. Just the inexperience was too much for Gotts, but we like what we've seen out of him, so we decided to keep him on the practice squad. So, yeah, that's pretty much the draft. We got a mixed bag of depth, need, and talent, which is exactly what you want in the draft. And now I feel like I'm ready to go. I feel like I'm ready to go this season. The only thing that kind of concerns me, the interior line is starting to age. Ben Jones, he's getting 30. Klein is like 29. Yeah. They're starting to decline a little bit, which could be a problem. I don't know if it's going to kick in this season, but what I'll probably do is spend a high draft pick next season on a interior offensive lineman. But if they played good like they did last year, then we're going to be okay. Because these 5 played great last season, so. And we're going to rely on our bookend tackles to lock that down. But other than the interior line, Mariota, his accuracy issues. I mean, towards the end of the season, he was slinging it just about as good as anybody in the league. So if he can do that, we're going to be okay on offense. Our scheme ain't going to change. We're still going to do that unorthodox college scheme. And then defense is where we made our money last year, and I don't see that changing. Our linebackers might, like all of our new guys, might take a minute to get up to speed. In particular, Lawrence at D tackle. And these guys, the new guys might take a minute to get up to speed. But I'm expecting but I kind of expect results like we did towards the back end, where we shut teams down on defense. I expect that. So with that said, and the final thing we'll do, we'll set the goal. And we'll take a look at the season and all that. So, as you can see here. Wait, can we look at the schedule? So as you can see, hold on. Oh, okay, I can't leave this menu? Okay. So, I mean, as you can see by the schedule, we play a pretty difficult stretch at the beginning of the Panthers, Steelers, Chargers, Patriots. I mean, 3 of those 4 teams make the playoffs. The Steelers... No, actually, all 4 of those teams made the playoffs last season. However, the Patriots, we kind of killed them. And the Steelers have changed. But I mean, it's still going to be a pretty difficult stretch. And then we play Jacksonville again. And that's going to be a battle. And then after Jacksonville in week 5, I mean, Broncos, Falcons, Texans, then we get a bye. Then we play the Saints week 10. And that game might determine where we want to be for the playoffs. The Saints were the NFC runner-up last season. And I feel like if we can beat them, then it would show we all ready for the playoffs and ready to compete for a Super Bowl. That would be a really good game. And then Jacksonville again. But after that, I mean, I don't see much until the very end when we play one again in a rematch. And this time we better have Marcus Mariota. No offense to Josh Dobbs, but Dobbs just was not ready for that big of a moment. You could see that. As he got swallowed up by that Chiefs D. But overall, it's if you take the first 5 weeks, and then I see those 8 games, which concern me out of the get-go. It is 8 games I'm concerned about right out of the get-go. I mean, we shall see. I'm going to set it heel. I feel like in comparison to the rest of our division, I think we should. Right? I feel like we should make the playoffs. We should. I mean, if you take a look at the division, Jacksonville, I don't think they did anything. Indy didn't do a dang thing, and Houston just regressed. The Titans, I feel like we don't have a glaring hole. If we can just get through that first 5-game stretch, starting with the Panthers, who, by the way, won the regular season championship in the NFC. Let's not forget that now. Like, the Panthers and the Titans were the regular season champs, so that'd be something. But, if we can just survive that stretch, and then the Saints-Jaguars 2-game stretch and the Chiefs, all the other games I think are winnable. So, and I feel like we're the best team in the division. So with that said, I don't have a set number of wins in my mind, but I believe our goal is to make the playoffs. Commit. Yeah, our goal is to make the playoffs. And I feel like with this team, we can do that. Even though some teams have already played. Like the Chiefs barely beating the Lions 64-58. Goodness gracious. And then the Chargers beating the Browns by 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, that's gonna do it for this video. It might have went longer than I expected, but y'all can hear me talk. That's pretty much the recap and the prediction show. Let's hope to have another great season like we did last season. And thank you all for watching. I will see y'all week 1 against the Panthers. That's going to be a really good game. I'm just going to let y'all know that now. It's going to be a really hard-hitting football game. We'll be here for it. And I'll talk to you later.